Hans Christian Andersen was born on April the 2nd, 1805. It was actually a little house, not this one here, but he always denied that that was his place. We think that it might be because he was ashamed of the area. This building behind me is actually where he grew up from the age of 2 till the age of 14. There were 12 people living in this house. His mother and the man he called his father, which was actually the man that introduced him into the theater world by making small theater scenes with little puppets that they played with, basically. And that's where Hans Christian Andersen's passion, theater and his stories started. At the age of 7, Hans Christian Andersen's father enlisted as a soldier and came back two years later. He became very, very sick and basically died 3 years after that. And when the father died, actually broken and completely bankrupted, the family became very, very poor, and they actually had to send Hans Christian Andersen to a school for poor children. And he decided that from then on, as soon as he could, he would leave Odense, which he did at the age of 14. So at the age of 14, Hans Christian moved to Copenhagen and tried actually to become a dancer in the opera house. That did not go very well. He was very clumsy and they basically made fun of him. So he worked a little here, a little there, stayed with several people, several families, and started writing stories and poems. And as soon as he started traveling, he also started to do some travel books. And he actually became very famous for that. Even before his death, he was actually very famous for his fairy tales and poems. He was also one of the most known photographed and painted writers of the time. We still have a lot of paintings from him, not a lot of photographs, because the photographs he actually gave away to female friends with a little autograph, you know. Most photographs were actually taken outdoors until they started doing indoors, then he preferred indoors. And if you've never noticed, it's actually from the, not completely profile, but from the side like this, and always from the same side, because that was the side that he thought was most photogenic. He died in Copenhagen on August the 4th, 1875, and buried at the cemetery in Copenhagen, Assistentens Kirkegård, where a lot of other famous people, whether they're also buried, and that could be everything from poets, writers, singers, are also buried at the same spot. But his is actually the one that's easiest to find because there's always signs, so you can easily go to that area. There was a rumor at that time that his father might have been Prince Christian of Denmark, due to the fact that he had very easily access to the royal family and in the castle where they lived. But we actually don't know who his real father is because it was never written down. But a lot of rumors of who his real father is. There's a lot of statues in Denmark, obviously in Odense, but there's also a few in Copenhagen. And for you Americans, there's actually also one in New York, Central Park, of Hans Christian leading the ugly duck. In New York Central Park, there's also one statue of the rider leading the ugly duck. So funny that so far away from his homeland, do you find a statue of him?